Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be streaming from, and welcome to another edition of Becoming Awesome, the AWS Twitch podcast, where Amazon insiders introduce you to the humans of AWS. And today we'll be focusing on Swapnil Singh, who's a solutions architect, uh, as well as a speaker for women in tech. She's also part of our affinity groups here at Amazon, and we'll also be touching on game day. So, Jenna, you're not in your normal place. Where are you?
Hey Ray, happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to everybody out there. I am in Boston, but nobody cares where I am. Thanks for asking. More importantly, let's find out where people are today
Yeah.
and how people are doing.
Yeah. So if you can drop in chat where
Yeah.
you're streaming from, would love to hear from you. So with that said, let's bring on our guest. Hello, Swapnil. How are you?
Hello, Ray. Hey, Jenna. I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Doing great. Doing
Happy
great.
to really excited about getting to know you and some of these initiatives that you're part of, like Game Day.
Yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
having me on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why don't we start with a quick introduction? Give the viewers a sense of where you came from, how you got here, and what you're doing today at AWS.
Sure. Yeah. I am a solutions architect here at AWS in a team that's called Product Acceleration Team. It's a very special programs team that works with EdTech and GovTech customers. I am on the GovTech side, helping with GovTech customers build products and take those products to market. And we try to help them and accelerate their progress to take that product to market.
That's excellent.
And your background was as a software development engineer. So was that a transition for you when you came here?
It was a very smooth transition, I'd say. I started working as a Java developer a long time ago, and since then, like I played different roles across many different organizations. Somewhere, software developer or engineering lead or an architect. But being an architect anywhere else is slightly different than being an architect. So, it's an architect at AWS. So, definitely a lot of learning has been going on.
Why? Why is it different?
There is I think there is a lot to learn, is one thing. There is a different customer facing experience that I face, was not in part of my role with earlier companies that I worked with. So, yeah, that's another aspect that's new and, continued learning going on there.
Hmm. Awesome. I know you're also pretty passionate about fostering inclusive environments and empowering more women to enter the tech field.
Right.
As Ray said, you are leading some affinity groups or chapters of affinity groups. And so I want to understand, why is it important to you to have more women in tech?
Yeah. So let me back up a little and add to that affinity group question, because what is an affinity group, right? So when I joined AWS, I found out that there are support groups. You can call them affinity groups for women. And these groups, what they do is they help and support women to achieve their career goals, share their experiences with each other, help create chats and discussions where they can talk about what matters to them. I joined this affinity group called Women at Solutions Architecture because overall, if you talk about women being in tech, there are always lesser women in tech than men, and you would find that a lot of the times, a lot of the women will tell you that they are the only women when they are having technical discussions in the room. uh, I would like to change that because definitely there is a lot of potential there. A lot of women out there that I talk to, they want to switch their roles from non-technical to technical. A lot of us, a lot of the women, they leave their jobs sometimes to take care of their young kids or elderlies. And it also happens that they are looking for ways to come back to the AWS or the technical world. So I care about that kind of. I can understand and relate to it because I have two kids too. So I want to make sure that I am providing a platform to them as well. And I joined one of these affinity groups for that reason.
Mhm. So, what advice Now that you have your own personal experience, you're a part of professional organizations, you've been in different companies and cultures. What advice do you have for individuals or companies that are looking to drive and foster a culture of inclusion and belonging in a way that would be welcoming and productive?
Yeah, having these platforms like the affinity groups is a great idea. I think that it gives us a platform to talk about things that matter to us. And these affinity groups don't just run on their own. There are women, thousands of women involved in these groups that are supporting this, other than their day jobs. And we have allies, like a lot of our allies that are men that help and support this idea as well. So just building that um, concept of inclusion within the organization is what matters.
Mhm.
Thank you for sharing that. I hear a lot from a lot of female candidates that I talk to. The culture matters, being work-life balance matters,
Yeah.
etc. So, talk to me a little bit about what life is like, maybe for you outside of work, and how do you balance everything? And do these groups actually help support you, or did you learn anything that you didn't know before from these groups?
Yeah. So talking about the first question, my life outside of work, I have two boys, 8 and 11 years old. They are both in elementary school. They are at an age where they want to go to different kind of classes, and they are learning like taekwondo, piano classes, basketballs. So other than keeping my job, I'm basically their Uber driver, taking them to and from these classes. Uh, but it's fun. Like it's really enjoyable, and to see what they learn and how they do it. What was the second question? I'm sorry.
It's more like, how do you balance the work life? Because
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
people think it's, all work and no life, right? How do you go
yeah.
about balancing?
So, and you asked me how the affinity groups helped, right? Because
Yeah.
the affinity groups is made of women who have kids and who also deal with the same kind of situations. So just talking to them, and I have myself mentors within AWS, and I have mentees within AWS and outside as well, that we can then talk to each other about these things that we are dealing with, and how hard it is to manage these priorities that all are like highest priorities for you. You want to give it all, but you cannot. So sometimes you have to balance it out. Sometimes you have to compromise in one area or the other, which is okay. But being able to talk about it and discuss it with people that are going through the same challenges is what helps you keep going.
Yeah, and Swapnil, I completely relate, and I'm not so sure if it's so much a gender thing. I think it's a parent thing
That's
because
true.
there are also men that work from home that have to juggle and balance. So it is a parenting thing, and I just remember those days of mom Ubering around one
Yeah,
kid on one part of town, one kid on another part of town, back and forth, and trying to juggle calls in parking lots.
that's true.
So
Yeah, the reason why the women have to get together is because there aren't many women in the tech world to actually talk to about it, like day to day. So I think affinity groups bring the women together to be able to talk about these things. But you're right that it's definitely a parent thing. My husband does half of the Ubering, so I can't complain. Yeah.
Is there a
yeah,
pro tip? Is there like a pro tip that was shared that I was like, oh, that's really awesome. I never thought about that. That now it's like universal for all like parents if that's what they're.
Uh, I, I would say that one thing that has helped me a lot is blocking my calendar for
Mhm.
all of my kids' classes. Like I am out of office, I have blocked my calendar for that, and so has my husband. So a lot of times we try to do it together, which I think works very well because we get to spend time with each other. We get to spend time with kids,
Mhm.
and that's like our meet up touch point in the day. So I think that works very well for both of us.
mhm. Great. So
Excellent.
do you believe that Amazon is a choice destination for women and allies?
I think it has been for me definitely the flexibility that I have gotten so far with my work schedules. I travel as well during my job, so I go to customer meetings and visit customer offices. So there has been flexibility built into my job so that I can do that as well as take care of kids and family and home.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So, in terms of your professional side, what are you goaling yourself towards at this point? You're here and you've made a sort of a transition in your career, and as you look ahead, where do you see yourself?
Yeah. So I am definitely a technical background person. I would remain in a technical role. This is a solution architect role, which has a path forward of becoming a senior solution architect, becoming a principal solution architect. So I'm looking forward to that.
excellent. So you mentioned that you look at the affinity group, women at AWS, but there's also a subgroup, women at SA, right?
Right.
Can you talk a little bit more about that? I know, obviously, high level is probably like the SA, female SAs, right? But
Yeah.
what does the conversations look like? What type of support do they get?
Right, right. So, like I said, like women might be making up, and this is some study that was done. I read this off of the Women Tech blog, which is another organization that I'm part of, and about 45 or more percent of women make the workforce, but only 15% or so make the technical part of that workforce. So that's why the Women at Solutions Architecture group was where I wanted to be, because I want to build that technical community as well. And that's what we do in this group. So we hold immersion days for our internal AWS women to be able to participate and be able to talk about technical challenges that they are facing.
Mhm.
If they want to do AWS certifications, we provide them guidance on how they can go about it. They want guidance or mentorship through any of these technical challenges, we are there to support them. uh, we also talk about career progression, which is, like you asked me, something on our minds, and how do we go about it, what challenges we are facing. We provide mentorship for that as well. So there are various platforms, various subcommittees actually, that take care of each of these concepts and help women in that group.
That's fantastic. It's you look at one group, but then, like you said, it's broken down based on what people are really trying to focus on for their own personal growth and needs, right? Because we
Right.
all have different things. So,
Yeah. And
I
I
didn't
am
even know
part
about
of the
that.
okay. Good, good. I'm part of the recruiting committee, so that's another subgroup that takes care of recruiting both internally and externally. So recruiting internally means we want more AWS women to join our affinity group, and Jenna, I don't know if you're a part of it,
Mhm.
and Ray, you can join as an ally as well. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
yeah,
tell us what that group is doing. I think that might tie to the game day initiative. We would love
right.
to hear more about any technical and initiatives happening.
Right. So, like I said, the recruiting subcommittee, it hires both internally and helps the recruiting team that is hiring external candidates as well. And as part of that, we are hosting in collaboration with the recruiting teams a game day. And what is a game day? Basically, a game day is a gamified version of a technical challenge that the participants in that event solve, and they solve that using AWS services. So, this game day, which we are terming Career Game Day, is going to be held in March, and it's going to be focused on external female candidates. It's an invite only event, and it is going to be a 3 to 4 hour of event where they participate in that game day event, where they would sort of get a playground, and they would get that playground to and there would be issues popping up in that playground, and they would have to solve them. It will be completely non-prescriptive, and it will be completely hands-on, but it'll be fun, and it's very competitive sometimes. Like, we split them into teams, and they have to figure out how to resolve those problems, and they get points for those problems. So it can be really fun.
Awesome. What does the breakdown of that day look like? Like, does it start off with maybe speakers and then the breakout sessions? What does it kind of look like?
Right. So our game day is definitely completely technical, hands-on. But before the game day, in this career game day concept, we make sure that we give 30 to 45 minutes of panelists that can talk about, whatever role they are in. So we bring women panelists who have been in either, say, development managers role or solution architect manager roles, or solution architects themselves, or CSMs, or development engineers, different backgrounds, and they would talk about what their role is like, and what their days look like, and what kind of challenges they faced, or what was their career path to getting there. So all of these are very informational for anybody who is looking to join AWS, and that panel will be like 30 to 45 minutes, followed by an hour and a half to 2 hours of game day, and then
Mhm.
we will wrap up with some I told you about the point system, so there will be some winners in that game day event. We will announce those winners, and then we will talk about what challenges they face during that game day as well, so that they leave with that idea of having learned something from AWS services and that day in that game day.
This sounds like so much fun.
Yeah.
It is.
Who
It
who
is.
is sh-
Especially the competition aspect is very fun because there is a dashboard that you can keep looking at all the time, and you can see your team is climbing up that list of participants, or you're going down, and then the participants really get focused when they are going down, so that they have to resolve the problems that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds intimate too, right? They get to meet people
Yeah.
that are here and then work with others that may not be here together. What
Right.
who should come?
Yeah, anyone who has technical background should be able to join and understand what is going on. Like, especially with the panel, I would say everyone should be able to join
Mhm.
and have that discussion. But AWS Game Day is slightly focused on AWS services. So if you have hands-on AWS experience, just to be able to, go to the right console and be able to look at the services on AWS console, that will be good enough for you to be able to get through the day. So
Gotcha.
you asked me who can join, developers or solution architects or technical account managers or I said developers, but development managers as well.
Awesome.
Right. So,
And then if you see, we have a question for you in the chat from our
Mhm.
friend Isaiah Labros. I hope I pronounced that right. Sorry, Isaiah, if I didn't. If you could maybe tackle that, would be amazing.
yeah, I have a senior in high school who will be off to college in the fall. She is very creative and has an interest in UX UI design. Any advice I can pass along to her as a future woman in tech?
Yeah, I think firstly, congratulations on finding the choice or the interest that she has, because that's hard, being able to figure out what you want to do. But I think networking is important. I'd say that you need to be able to talk to people, and that's what I'm doing here, and that's what I would encourage young women and young college graduates to be able to do as well, because that opens up the path to them to be able to see where they want to reach. Right, when they talk to the people that are already in that position, I would say go ahead and talk to them and understand if that's the kind of role that you want to be in. uh, that's one thing, networking. The other is finding that niche, where you belong, and making sure that you are on top of the technology. I think that's is an advice for everybody, not just women.
Yeah, I Jenna and I actually went to my daughter's all girl school, that's focused on comp sci, and for their during like the winter time, the winter
Hmm.
sessions, they have what's called intensives, and they invite people from different backgrounds and different career backgrounds to come in and talk about,
Yeah.
give tips and whatnot. And she and I talked about for the graduating class, how to network, and we talked them like what's so important, how to actually connect with the people, and trying to find your first job or your first internship in tech and whatnot. And that
Yeah.
great advice. So, Isaiah, again, thanks for that question. It's a very common question that's so important.
Yeah.
It's one of the most important common questions. So,
What
yeah.
what is your role, Swapnil, for the game day? Are you going to be on the panel or leading the game sessions, or share what any other kind of involvement you have, even if it's in the production of it. We want to hear.
Yeah, definitely. So I will be involved throughout the planning and the live event as well. Uh, we have a list of panelists we want to be able to bring in, because we already did a game day last year as well, a similar career game day, and we got great feedback from it. But I was on the panel there, so I don't want the same people to be on the panel every
Yeah.
time, so there will be different people this time. But I'll be involved throughout the panel, as well as the game day, as well as the closing of the event, if there are questions about the game day and the experience that the participants had. So I'll be there.
What's the
That's awesome.
feedback that you received? Positive or maybe suggestions for next ones? What was the feedback?
Yeah. So the feedback we received was majority of it was positive. The only, I think, negative, I would say, is that some people who didn't have AWS knowledge struggled with the game day, because if you don't know a little bit about AWS console, that game day is using the AWS services to resolve the challenges, the technical challenges that are presented to you. So that would be tough, definitely. So that's why we are making sure that we highlight that AWS service knowledge would be required.
So there you go. So which ties into again, like why is it invite only? We want to make sure that it's a positive experience for everybody, but at the same time,
Right.
we're not trying to exclude everyone. Maybe they should be part of the initial panel discussion, or at least listen into that, right?
Right.
Is
So
this a reoccur? Is this it sounds like you did one before. I wonder what sort of cadence you may be planning on doing these types of events.
Yeah. We started it last year with women at SA, at least. So we did one in October. We are thinking twice a year as of now.
Mhm.
excellent. What was your biggest personal takeaway from that event last year?
Uh, Firstly, I would say that the women who joined the game day, they were all unacquainted, right? They didn't know each other, and they were put in a team. 3 to 4 women made one team, and they got to know each other. I think that was my biggest, like, I enjoyed that not just us meeting them, it's them meeting them as well, which was really it was good to see. By the end of it, they knew each other, they knew what their strengths are, weaknesses are, and how they are going to work as a team. So that was a great experience.
Oh, so might foster new relationships that they weren't expecting. They were thinking maybe just relationships with people here at AWS, but now they're meeting people from different walks of life, different
Exactly.
companies and organizations, and even
Right.
functional backgrounds. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, that's so nice that they do this. I hope that it can get reappropriated like in other teams as well, like for SDEs and for technical project managers or even account on the business side. Right? It's just such a nice thing to do. And it just really helps people get a feel for what it's like to work here. It's like sort of, when you interview, you're preparing stories of your past experience,
Right.
right? But doing something like this really gives you a chance to explore how to actually engage and maybe even use some of our values and behaviors that we promote in our culture while you're doing something that you already know how to do. That's on the
Right.
tech
Yeah.
on the functional side.
Yeah. We will have to
Interesting
build a
concept.
game day, it seems, for business side of the things. We don't have that concept yet.
all
Yeah.
right. So we have a few minutes left. Anyone that has any questions, in the chat, please pop them. This is the time. I'll also be sharing. A survey link for anyone. If you can, just it's a short survey, just so we know what your thoughts are on this specific episode. We'll also give you our contact information so you can reach out to us. Maybe to be considered for a game day and whatnot. But more communication on that will be going out to people that we've also personally identified directly. But if you want to self-identify, please reach out to us one way or another. Jenna, I think we talked about, we talk about the show, try to humanize everything. I just bought these cards, and I want you to maybe test it out on me, or I test it out on you. And it's pretty much just, it's like an icebreaker, but kind of a little bit deeper type of question. So do you want me to ask you a question? Do you want to ask me a question? Your choice.
I mean, this is your game, so you choose.
No, it depends on the topic. So how about
All right,
this?
I'll go for it. I'll be your guinea pig. It's
All
fine.
right. So we got 6. So we got dreams, life lessons, exposed, courage, beliefs, and self-awareness.
I'm gonna go future state, so I'll go with dreams.
Dreams. Okay, that makes sense. All right. With that, tell me when to stop.
Oh, stop! We are running
All
out of time. Or I could just drag this out so that we get cut off and I don't have to actually
No,
answer.
it'll be quick. So there you go. What kind of mentor do you need to help you level up your life?
I need a mentor that can challenge my belief system and help me get out of my comfort zone, and somebody that maybe can find a way of getting to know me better than I know myself.
Yeah. I think
Nice.
people that care will tell you the truth. They're not
Yeah,
yes people,
I don't
right?
want to hear what I want to hear. I
Yeah,
definitely don't want to hear what I want to hear. I want
yeah,
to hear what I don't know.
yeah. And Swapnil, as you get to know Jenna and I, and anyone that knows us, anytime she and I have a meeting, we go back and forth. We're yin and yang. She will challenge me on something. I will challenge her on something, and that's kind of what you
Mm,
need to give the other perspective and bust your
yeah.
own biases, right? So 2 minutes. We have like just 2 minutes left before another show starts. So with that, Swapna, I want to thank you so much for this. For joining and sharing about game day. We're excited to share these video snippets and the marketing material going forward, and everything that you do. Again, as a parent of a girl of only one child that's focused on tech right now, she's turning 14.
Nice.
This is something that I've been passionate about for many years, in from recruitment to now directly trying to help my daughter along with her journey. And it's great to see someone like yourself and others constantly trying to move the needle. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you for
And
having
thank
me.
you
This
for
is
being
fun.
a great
yeah, yeah,
example.
yeah.
Putting
Thank
yourself
you.
out there,
I
doing
agree.
extra work. Hmm.
Yeah. So again, thanks everyone for joining, and look forward to you filling out the survey so we can learn. See what you thought about the show, and then we could improve. All right. So have a great one,
You.
everyone.
Bye
Take
bye.
care. Bye.